Hey gamers, my name's Gil, and today we're going to go over the build that I used while playing Enshrouded. Now everybody knows that I enjoy playing archers in video games, and that's no different in Enshrouded. I went for an archer-based build that focused primarily on explosive arrows and shots. So we're going to take you step by step on how I leveled up through the game and the path that I took. Starting off here, you will see that I only have 121 points available. All right. Now, the maximum number of points available in Enshrouded is 149. However, that's not super realistic for every player out there. That means you went and you found every elixir well, you found every plant, you gathered all the skill points. Now, I played over 100 hours in my campaign, and I ended up with 121. I feel as if that's a realistic amount, so that's the amount that I'm going to use as I show you guys the build that I took. First off, you've probably seen in a couple of my videos the 4 basic movement speed skills. Those are the ones that I like to take first, and for that we're looking at this endurance point, which goes over to runner, which goes over to double jump. Double jump is huge, and I can't imagine playing this game without it. These you can wait on here for a little while if you want to, but I like to get them out of the way as combat in the early game is not too rough. So we just take this dex point, which takes us over here to airborne, which allows us to glide a little farther, and then finally to updraft. The little glider boost that helps you make it a little farther when you're going places. Now, I'm not a big fan of the Beastmaster tree. I did not head that route at all. The poison in the game feels a little lackluster. If you're dying a lot to poison, you could go for the poison resistance abilities and stuff, but just dodge. Don't get hit. Then you don't have to worry about poison. So I like to go Dex into Marksman for that 10% more damage, and then I like Eagle Eye. Now what Eagle Eye does is that allows us to zoom in when we shoot. The game has target lock, so you can lock onto enemies and fire in third person if you want. I personally prefer to aim where I'm shooting. It makes the game feel more fluid to me. I don't know if fluid's the right word. It makes the game feel more immersive. Target locking and jumping around just isn't really my style, so that's not what I like to do. Furthering this, these points are all great right here. Sharpshooter and counter battery. I never sneak, so I never take silent stride. But I will take 20% more range damage and 15% more to ranged enemies. Eagle's Bane, 30% more against flying enemies. And then Bee Sting. This ability is insane if you're playing a primary archer build. All right. 10 stamina per second, and what this does is when we're flying, look at that slow fall. So if you're being chased by a horde of enemies, you double jump, turn around, bop bop, shoot them with a couple arrows. Super helpful. Look at this. And you see the second line here, every shot gives you a small push for more airtime. So if you're being chased and you have a bunch of people chasing you, look at this. Ooh. Crazy amounts of airtime. Works with jumping off cliffs, off rocks, all that fun stuff. And the last 2 points over here is I'm going to take skill shot, more headshot damage, and ranger for just good stuff all around. Endurance, dex, stamina, stamina recharge, critical chance, critical damage. You'll see we're focusing primarily on dexterity and endurance in this build. Now, I first tried multi-shot, didn't like it. Not only does it actually cost extra arrows, the arrows often just go off into no man's land, and you're wasting ammunition. Now, if they ever update it so that these points don't cost you extra arrows, I could see myself taking these. However, I don't want to have to craft more arrows to just have them shoot off into the void and hit nothing. They can be great, And oftentimes on large groups of enemies or against bosses, the arrows will all hit. However, I did not like the all the times I was wasting ammo on just random mobs, so I don't take these points. Now I move into the assassin tree over here, and this is more the core of our build. And once we get later into the game, and you can get explosive arrows and explosive arrow 2. So just moving through here, sniper, attacking with a ranged weapon increases your crit chance. Beautiful. Vitality Surge. Dealing a critical strike with a ranged weapon gives you back stamina. Dex, and then Shell Shock. Your ranged explosives now stun enemies. Beautiful. Beautiful. Bread and butter right here. If you're getting chased by 10 people, you shoot them with an explosive arrow, they all get stunned. They're chilling. Now you might find yourself running into mana problems until you get blessed arrows. You score a crit with a bow, regenerate 20 mana. These work in tandem. Blessed arrows, Vitality Surge, and Shell Shock. So if you're running and turn around, you're shooting your explosive arrows behind you. All right. If that arrow crits, every mob that gets crit is giving you back mana. Every mob that gets crit is giving you back stamina. And it's just a beautiful loop of spending resources and getting them refunded. Bounty Bonanza, this is whatever. You have to take this just to get to the next points. You won't notice the extra XP. Ricochets, also very minimal. 1% more damage for every target you hit. It's kind of whatever. However, Graceful Stride, a couple more dex points. You see at max flame level, it gave me 4 more dexterity. So we like that. Then Chain Reaction. You won't see this too often when you're fighting solo mobs, but if you're in a hollow halls or you're getting chased around through the open world by, 10, 15 mobs, you'll see this go off like crazy, and it does insane damage. Basically just giving you a small chance for a secondary explosion on your explosive arrows. Big damn there. All right, so now that we've filled out these 2 primary ranger build trees, now we're going to go into more utility and external sources, right? So I don't take extra shroud time. I don't feel as if the shroud is super impactful late in the game. And once you upgrade your flame level a few times, the shroud's whatever. Unless they buff that in a later patch, I'm not taking any ability that increases shroud time. So we're going into the endurance here. Wanderlust, great. More stamina on the roads. Now, this is a beautiful one. 30% chance to spawn a stamina orb when defeating an enemy with a bow. Well, guess what? We're defeating most of our enemies with a bow. And we love stamina. Backstab Mastery. 30% more damage done for the rear. We take that. Now these 2 points are insane. Good metabolism. 20% more mana and health from potions. Stamina orbs, health orbs, all that. Restore 30% instead of 10%. Huge. Rebound, increased base stamina regen by 50%. Now this one is a little bit of a toss-up here, okay? You have Sweet Tooth or Arachnoid. If you climb a lot for some reason and you feel like you often fall off when you're climbing, this could be great. Reduce stamina. I know there's been a couple times where I've hit a climbing part in the world and I've fallen off halfway up because I ran out of stamina. Or Sweet Tooth. If you want to carry around sugar-based food, you can, and this helps. I personally take Sweet Tooth just because the amount of times I climb just doesn't seem all that much, versus I can have a sugarcane farm and just have insane stamina regen for a while. Obviously more dex. And then this is what we're after up here. Dessert Stomach. 1 additional food slot. The food buffs in the game are pretty nuts, and having access to a 4th one is massive. We'll go a little bit more in depth here on the food. The extra food allows you to eat 1 food from each individual food type, which is going to be intelligence, healing, energy, endurance, dexterity, constitution. Then there's other foods and strength. Now, I like to go for beef stew, stir-fried vegetables, the milkshake, and the pumpkin soup. Reason being, pumpkin soup, health regen, stamina regen, frost resistance. Milkshake, 5 endurance, 5 stamina, 4 dex. Stir-fried vegetables, just a flat 5 dex. And then the beef stew gives you a little bit of strength for when we're sword and shielding, but it also gives the constitution, the frost resist, and the health regen. If you wanted to substitute any of those, you could make a strawberry cake or something for some extra stamina recharge. At this point in the game, I don't feel as if stamina is really my issue. So I go for more the health regen and con food. Now, at this point, it's very personal preference. I don't like daggers in their current iteration. So if I was going to play daggers, though, I would go into Beastmaster. You know, you've got slice and dice, bows, and dagger crit, dagger mastery, quick reflex block, poison blades. You know, all this stuff is where you would want to go if you want to go for a more dagger and bow focused build. Now, I personally went explosive arrows, and then I went sword and shield after that. So I'm going to come down here to the warrior tree. Pick up a little bit of con for a little HP. Warrior's Path. A little bit of extra melee damage. And over here, Feast. 15% more health from meat. Okay. Beautiful extra little bonus there. Remember, we can hold 4 foods now, so we should always have a meat buff. Strength. And then I'm going up the side here. I like to use swords, so I'm just going for melee and slashing. If you prefer, you know, hammers, you can take the blunt damage down the middle. Or if you prefer a piercing weapon, you can go through the thrust and pierce on the side. Veteran, it's more crit when you're attacking. And then swift blades let you attack faster. Now, if you're playing in a group, as I was, and your friends are always dying, Savior over here, reducing revive time to 3 seconds. That can be a game changer in a lot of fights. So I like to pick that up. There's some argument for some of these other ones. You have to take sneak attack if you want this backstab damage. Or vice versa, you could go through the merciless attack route. Personally, I don't care about that. And I'm just going to fill out these last few points with single nodes that I feel I would most benefit from. So endurance, more stamina. We love stamina. I actually like taking this 1 point in spirit here. The extra 20 mana can be really helpful, especially you know, if you're updrafting, it costs 120. It's really nice to have that little bit of extra mana cap. And then from here, you have a few choices. If you want a little bit extra melee damage, you can take a few strength points. If you want a little extra HP, take some con. And yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. So for me personally, I like to take this endurance point here, and I like to take a constitution point for a little bit extra HP. All right. So we want to see what that looks like. All right, now to show what this looks like, we're gonna run through here, aggro a bunch of these mobs, jump up, turn around. See how everything's stunned back there? Look at our stamina, look at our health. Everything's staying fully recharged. Ooh, look at that. See, we take a bunch of damage. Turn around. We're not having stamina problems. We're not having mana problems. We're doing crazy damage. Everything's stunned. It's just chilling back there. No issues at all, guys. These are max level mobs in a max level dungeon. See how hard they hit us. No problem at all. I'm going to cover my gear here now. So if you saw when I was fighting, my health would kind of slowly go back up as I'm hitting mobs. And the reason for that is actually my bow here. So this bow has health leech, gives you 5% damage as health, which gives you that nice little slow health every time you hit a mob. It's very consistent, very, very nice. Now, the other way I was healing, the massive chunks of healing where I was going from like half HP to full, I'm running these 2 rings. I believe you can find better ones than this. These are just the 2 that I have. So it's 8% life leech chance and 6%. So 14% chance for life leech. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this gives you a 100% life leech on the attack. So when I hit with this, I have a 14% chance to basically full heal myself when I attack stuff. The healing is pretty crazy. As you saw, my health was ping-ponging as I was letting mobs catch up to me and hit me, and then I would turn around and shoot them, and I would full heal. That's why. Those rings are insane. I used them most of the game. As far as armor, I like to go for the Alpine Antler Hood, which gives 14% critical strike damage, some range critical strike chance, and some frost res. The Alpine Antler Chest for the health, stamina, and frost resist. Alpine Antler Gloves for the range damage, the flying foe damage, and frost resist. And these are a little bit kind of like up to you. There's a lot of different options. I like sprint speed. I like running faster. So I went for the Antler Trousers. They give you stamina, sprint speed, and of course frost resist. And then for the boots, I went for the Trailblazer boots. Reason being the 700 stamina regeneration delay. I like getting my stamina back faster. So that is why I went for those. Obviously, any of the Alpine sets really good. Just cater to your playstyle. The shield, I just like the way the shield looks, so that's why I'm using this one. And then same with the sword. Seems really good. Lots of crit chance, a lot of critical hit damage. So just the best sword that I have, and that's what I'm using. All right, gamers, this has been Gil, and that was my ranged explosive arrow build guide. If you think that you have a better build, or you'd like to critique my build, let me know in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and follow me over at Twitch. Same name. Peace out, and game on.